as Mikel Arteta's Arsenal enters the final stages of the rebuild. One key component is missing: strength and depth. Gabriel Martinelli and Bukayo Saka are amazing, but in their absence Arsenal need quality, and the name of Mykhaylo Mudryk stands out. So let's get an update from Fabrizio Romano. Also, which Arsenal star boy has been nominated for the Golden Boy, and what's the big team news ahead of our visit to Brentford. Yo, what is going on guys? My name is Babs14 and welcome back to your boys channel. The Arsenal are back and I am back with the Arsenal content, so don't forget to smash a like as always and subscribe if you are new as well. Less than 3,000 away now from the big 120k. But let's start off with all of the latest Arsenal news. And the player in question is Palmeiras' midfielder Danilo. According to reporter Dean Jones, I think we can expect Arsenal to maintain their interest in Danilo, who they had set as a top tier target heading into the summer transfer window. There was a temptation to try for him, but they are content and they will lead the way for him next year. The source itself is a bit hit and miss, but the most important thing here is the interest is legitimate. Arsenal made a confirmed £20 million offer in the final days of the last transfer window, with the interest dating back to 2021. Edu Gaspar seems to have identified Danilo as the future centrepiece of the Arsenal central midfield. We are talking a Brazilian star boy in the making, 21 years of age, able to play as a number 6, as a number 8, and if you speak to any Brazilians, they can't stop raving about this guy. The £20 million offer that Arsenal put forward on the table was very reasonable, but the only reason why Palmeiras did not accept is because they want to keep him until the end of their season, which ends in November, and that's the key part, just after the World Cup, and that makes their off-season prime time for the January transfer window, where Arsenal are once again going to be in the market for a brand new central midfielder. Now, signing a player directly out of Brazil for £20 million does have its risks, but over Mikel Arteta's Arsenal tenure, they have shown time and time again these guys like to target profiles over names. And it seems like Mikel Arteta sees Danilo as a long-term part of his central midfield. Fabrizio Romano on Mykhaylo Mudryk. I think in the future there is a chance for Arsenal, but not only Arsenal. In August they had some conversations with the agents of Mudryk, but then when they knew about the price tag, way more than 30 million euros, they decided not to bid. Fabrizio Romano confirms that Arsenal have held negotiations with the agents of Mykhaylo Mudryk, and they have definite interest. The only concern they have is the price tag. And if that price tag was over 30 million euros before him shining in the Champions League, after 4 goal contributions in 2 Champions League appearances, that price tag is shooting up one way. Fabrizio also says there are many clubs in the race to sign him. When I was speaking to my sources during the summer about Mudryk with clubs around Europe, they told me from Shakhtar they really think this guy is worth way more than 30 million euros. Mudryk is one of the most exciting players coming out of Ukraine in a very long time. It only makes sense why one of the biggest clubs in Ukraine want to keep a hold of their star boy. Now, in the past we have seen Shakhtar get decent money for their players, and a prime example being £50 million for Fred. Mudryk is even more rated, has more excitement and far more hype. The price tag we might be talking here is 50 to 60 million euros. As ex-Arsenal striker Kevin Campbell says, I truly believe Mudryk is the right profile for Arsenal. He seems to have a great attitude. I think he likes Arsenal. Obviously his Ukraine captain is at Arsenal, so he's probably ringing Zinny and saying, speak to the manager and get me over there. Mudryk has reiterated time and time again he wants to move to the Premier League, and the fact that he specifically has mentioned Arsenal, the fact that he likes the club and likes the manager, the fact that we have Zinchenko, the captain of Ukraine. Make no mistake, there will be conversations ongoing behind the scenes, and if we're talking about agreeing personal terms, then I don't think Arsenal are going to have any issues. But will they spend potentially upwards of 50 million euros for a player out of Ukraine despite of the obvious qualities? Talk to me down below in the comments and let me know, do you believe Mykhaylo Mudryk is worth all of the hype? The shortlist for the Golden Boy Awards has been announced and Arsenal's Marquinhos has made the cut. Now there is no Saka, Saliba or Martinelli, but that is mainly because you have to be 20 or under, and all of those players are 21. Marquinhos' nomination to myself is a bit of a surprise. At Sao Paulo he was a decent talent, but never seen as anything special. Maybe his former Arsenal in the academy and of course in the first team now has got him on the shortlist. People are asking the questions of, is he Arsenal's next version of Gabriel Martinelli? I believe Marquinhos has very good basic fundamentals, and one of his most surprising traits is definitely his decision making. At 20 years of age he seems very calm and composed on the ball. With the sheer volume of games that Arsenal have coming up after the international break, from now until the World Cup, I do believe Marquinhos is going to get a lot of chances. Moving on to Brentford versus Arsenal. After well over a week of waiting, we can finally say that our gargantuan institution is back in action, but the game itself is setting up to be very tricky. Brentford are a very well coached team, and out of the last 5 games, they are 4 undefeated and won their last game 5-2 against Leeds. In comparison, Arsenal have won 4 out of their last 5, but lost their last league game against Man United. And one thing's for sure, these teams know how to create chances. In fact, in terms of Brentford, they have created 17 big chances so far this season, the second highest in the Premier League, and 5 more than third place Arsenal. The attacks are definitely excelling, and for Arsenal, we talk about Gabriel Jesus, but for Brentford, Ivan Toney is their star man. 6 appearances, 5 goals and 2 assists, and he's just got his first call up to England. Toney is definitely the player to watch. But in terms of the team news, Brentford are set to welcome back Sergi Canos and Christopher Ajer, but will be without the likes of Ethan Pinnock and Christopher Norgard. For Arsenal, the major return is set to be Thomas Partey, who as you guys can see was spotted in the latest Arsenal training session. But the major doubt is Emil Smith-Rowe, and Mikel Arteta says there has been an ongoing issue that he has had, some discomfort in the groin area. It's something that we are trying to assess and help him in any way we can, because we need him fit and performing at his best level. But you also have Ben White, who according to Charlie Wyatt is suffering from an ongoing hip and knee injury. But when asked in his press conference, Mikel Arteta confirmed that Ben White is fit to face Brentford, and later was confirmed to be in Arsenal first team training. So it looks like Ben White is going to be available, but there is another massive doubt, and that being Alexander Zinchenko, as there are reports from Ukraine that Zinchenko has picked up an injury in training and will miss Brentford this weekend, and he is set to stay in London during the international break. But in terms of Arteta, he says again, we have to wait until tomorrow to make that decision, where he was on that moment and what we decided to do for the international week. It doesn't mean that we are going to say the same for the weekend, so it's something that we will have to address tomorrow. That is more of a promising quote, and maybe it indicates from Arteta's side where he might be available for tomorrow but stays during the international break to make sure he's fully recovered and recuperated for the thick and fast games in October. In terms of the lineup, I think it will be Ramsdale in goal, a back four of Tomiyasu, Saliba, Gabriel and Tierney, a midfield of Partey, Odegaard and Xhaka, and a front three of Martinelli, Jesus and Bukayo Saka. Ultimately, we have 2 changes there and there. No Ben White and no Zinchenko. I know they might be fit and available, but I think because they're both a bit risky. Thankfully in the fullback department, Arsenal are pretty blessed in terms of depth, and Tomiyasu and Tierney are 2 of the best fullbacks in the league anyways. To have them as almost backup dancers, it just goes to show that in some of the departments, Arsenal are getting there in terms of having elite squad depth. Now in terms of the tactics though, we're going to have a very hard game, as I truly believe that Brentford are one of the best coached teams in the Premier League. I believe Thomas Frank is very underrated, and this season we have seen Brentford change their tactics from a 3-5-2 moving into a more expansive 4-3-3, and in that Brentford have become far better going forwards, and in transition on the counter-attack, the likes of Mbeumo and more Ivan Toney are proper outlets. And that's where Arsenal have to be careful, because last game against Man United, for me we lost that game in transition and we weren't able to contain the United counter-attacks. That being said, I do believe Brentford's 4-3-3 isn't perfect, and the fact that it's new to them, maybe Arsenal can look to expose the inexperience. But if they are to go back to more of a 3 at the back and a 3-5-2, then this game gets a little bit harder. For me, it's all about the Arsenal midfielders and the fullbacks. If they are able to control transitional moments, then Arsenal have all the quality going forward to sustain pressure and dominate the game and score the goals. I know that we are top of the league, but going into this game, I'm not too confident, and I think Brentford are a team that Arsenal have to respect. Talk to me down below in the comments about your thoughts going into this game, and most importantly, your score predictions. Moving on to the other Arsenal news today, and starting off with Folarin Balogun, who's been called up to the England under-21 squad, with 5 goals so far this season, alongside Harry Kane and Ivan Toney. Balogun is the joint highest scoring Englishman in the European top 5 leagues so far this season, averaging over 1 goal per game, the highest out of any other English striker. The Arsenal star boy is shining, but in terms of the future, Balogun was born in the USA, and there is some rumours that they are trying as hard as they can to make Balogun a potential US international. But talking about Arsenal star boys, William Saliba has been named in the front squad for the upcoming international break. At 21 years of age, the Mbappe of centre-backs is becoming more and more a shoo-in for the France squad for the World Cup, and you know what, rightly so. But in terms of the England squad, you have call-ups for Aaron Ramsdale and Bukayo Saka, but there was no Ben White in Gareth Southgate's 28-man squad. Don't get me started on Harry Maguire, but when you got the likes of Connor Cody and Eric Dyer getting called up over Benny Blanco, there should be serious questions posed towards Gareth Southgate. It once again confirms to me that Ben White is one of the most underrated defenders in the world, not just by football fans, but also by football managers. But talking about managers, Mikel Arteta has been named the August Premier League Manager of the Month. 5 wins out of 5, top of the Premier League, need I say anymore? In the space of a year, this is the 3rd time that Arteta has won the award. Even though there is of course still a lot of pressure, I think Arsenal fans are now starting to realise that Arsenal might have something very special with Mikel Arteta, and he does still have a lot to prove. But in terms of ratings in the game of football, this was a guy that back in 2012, when you had Pep Guardiola managing one of the best Barca sides ever, going into a Champions League game against Chelsea in 2012, Pep Guardiola picked up the phone to call Mikel Arteta. Impressed by Arteta's critical analysis, Pep made a mental note to seek more of his advice often. This was back when Arteta was still a player for Arsenal back in 2012. The fact that you have one of the best managers of all time calling you there and there, it just goes to show that Arteta has always been rated in the coaching game. But in terms of winning the Manager of the Month award, the last time that happened, Arsenal lost the next 3 league games in a row. That is an example of the so-called Manager of the Month curse, where every time a manager wins the award, they have gone on to lose the next few games. Curses are there to be broken, and hopefully this time round against Brentford at their stadium in a brand new season, Mikel Arteta is able to break the curse. That is the video there and there though, so if you have enjoyed, make sure to go down there and to smash a like on the video, and also subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you want to follow your boy in all of the social medias, then the links are all down below in the description, especially on the Instagram. But that was all of today's latest Arsenal news today, and now Brentford is around the corner. I'm not overly confident, I'm a bit nervous, but ultimately the Arsenal are back, so I'm smiling, I'm excited and hoping for the best. I will see you guys next time. Take care of yourselves and have a good